What's up? What's up? Dr. Brook here with another epic episode of Dr. Brook on the Block. I am joined by my co-pilot today, Madison Parks, who is not only a fellow San Diegan, but also another woman in the Web3 space doing incredible things with wallets, with NFTs, emceeing live events, and another company called Zcash, which we will talk all about on today's episode. Welcome to the show, Madison. So happy you're here with me today.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad we're finally getting to connect. It's been far too long. It's always great to chat with somebody who's in the space, and just the fact that you're also in San Diego is really cool too.
I know. I feel like I've not been participating in some events the last quarter of 2022, but life has just gotten crazy busy. And
there's always more events to participate in. Don't you worry.
Definitely. So Madison, first question out the gate as we get the ride started for today. Most of my listeners know this. If you are new listening to the show, I love asking my guests what their intro story is into Web3 and how they got here. So how did you get here?
That is such a loaded question, but I love it. When I think about my history, and especially my career history, I sometimes am not even sure how I got to where I am. So just stick with me. I'll kind of spell it out, and we'll get to present day. So I went to college not really knowing what to do. I put myself through college, and so I worked full time and was going to school, and I had a few interests, but I was never one of those people that was like, this is my North Star, and looking back on it, it's not even like I could have predicted that I would end up in Web3, because when I was in high school and college, crypto careers weren't necessarily something to aspire to. So I just stuck with my passions, and my passions are, people-to-people communication and art. So I got my degree in communications, and I actually have my minor in ceramic arts. I don't think a lot of people know that about me, but I am a ceramicist.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm also a big traveler. So during college, I took a year off and did the van life thing with my now fiance. So that's, doesn't really pertain to my career, but it's a part of my journey. And then right after school, I moved to San Diego, and I was, entering the career space, and, I kind of stumbled into Web3. My fiance, he's interested in like day trading and stocks and whatnot. And so I would always bug him and be like, hey, what's this crypto thing? Like, I'm kind of interested, it looks like really cool technology. And he got me involved a little bit. And then when I was job seeking, I found the company that I'm now with, which is Edge. And I applied, and then I got the job. And so I've been working with Edge. I've been working in Web3 professionally for over a year and a half now. And it's just been the most wonderful, incredible, high speed, like bullet train of an experience.
Totally.
Yeah, it's been amazing. And I've been able to host events and meet amazing people like you. I've also been able to do lots of people operations. So I really get to touch a lot of people in a lot of different departments. I'm talking with the engineers and the marketing teams, and I get to, see the ins and outs and the inner workings of the space in my role. So yeah, that's how I got here.
So incredible. Such a windy road, right? Like, to use the analogy of you doing van life for a year, I'm sure there was a lot of like roads that you were on that were just kind of like boring roads, and then very exciting roads, and all different, turns and twists along the way. And here you are today, and, your journey as you continue in Web3 is probably going to look much different in 5 years than it does right now. And that's what's so exciting about this space that is moving as quickly as a bullet train. You use that statement. It's such a great analogy to explain it. And it can be chaotic and crazy, but once you start to really grasp what it truly is, it's fun and exciting and exhilarating all at the same time. So
Absolutely. Yeah. I think one thing about me is I am a yes person. I like to say
yeah,
yes to opportunities and new things don't they of course scare me, but I've just learned throughout my life that saying yes to new things and learning challenging things, it only helps you in the long run. And I
yeah,
definitely can, yeah, I can say that that's how I've gotten here. And I'm going to continue to say yes to other opportunities because it's done me well so far.
I love it. I absolutely, everything you were saying there was just making my heart pop out of my chest because it's something that I truly live by. Like it's a guiding light or a guiding principle in my life is to become like a better version of myself every single day. And part of that is saying yes to opportunities that scare the ish out of you.
Hmm.
And really being willing to take that adventure that you're being called to take, regardless of how you feel about it. And that's what you've done, and that's what you're continuing to do. And oh my gosh, girl, you are gonna be you're on a bullet train too.
I'm telling
You
you,
know.
I'm on a train. I think I don't mean to sound redundant, but when you choose a life of yeses, there are a lot of there are a lot of no's that come into play as
Mhm,
well. And
mhm.
you I guess like when you start saying yes and your life starts becoming, more grand,
Yeah,
you in turn have to say no to the things that you're letting go of. And
yeah,
so, yeah, I think that's a part of it as well. But yeah, I love that you share that sentiment.
absolutely. So, can you share with people a little bit? You talked about working for Edge Wallet for the last 18 months or so. What is Edge, and how can people interact with it? Like, what is Edge?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Edge is a self-custody exchange platform. So, much like all those other exchanges that you see online, you see um, Edge isn't like these, but you see the Coinbases, the Krakens, the Geminis, all of these centralized exchanges. Edge is like those, but it's decentralized. So in when it comes to exchanges, either you hold the keys or the custodian holds the keys, and we believe that the user should hold the keys. So we're very security and privacy focused.
Mhm.
And so, we've seen all of these things coming up with FTX and these exchanges that are pausing withdrawals. What's cool about Edge is we can't pause withdraw. We can't pause withdrawals because we don't necessarily hold your keys.
Mhm.
The user always holds the keys, and that's something I really appreciate about Edge, and I'm glad that my start into Web3 was with Edge because now I can't even imagine being with any other company or any
Yeah,
other type of exchange. It's really important. Security and privacy is really important to me at this point, and Edge definitely instilled that in me at an early start.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I've definitely shared with people, the audience listening, about the difference in terms of like buying crypto assets or purchasing investments in the Web3 space as opposed to the traditional assets that you were talking about your fiance initially doing with stocks and day trading and those kind of things, where when you're purchasing crypto assets on exchanges like you talked about, Kraken, Coinbase, Gemini, God forbid FTX, people getting stuck in that debacle. Hopefully not anybody listening here. But when you purchase something on those exchanges, that money or those assets stay on that exchange unless you take self custody and put inside an Edge wallet. And so, in simplest terms, to use an analogy, it's like taking your Louis Vuitton wallet and putting your cash inside. You wouldn't take your Louis Vuitton wallet and leave it at the Louis Vuitton store. Like you take it home with you. And so Madison is talking about Edge, with the security and the self custody, because you have those assets now a part of your like your your stuff, right?
Mhm. What's
So,
cool is that Edge also has the functionality of an exchange. So not only are you storing all of your crypto, but you can still buy, sell, and trade. You can even
oh,
stake. Yeah. So you can do
oh,
basically what Edge is doing is they're making crypto simple, but also self-custody.
oh
So
my
it
gosh,
has
I
all
did
the
not know
function
that.
exactly. It has all the
Yeah,
function of all of the exchanges that you like,
yeah.
but you get to hold your keys.
Oh my gosh.
It's a really cool product.
That is a very cool product. That's very unique and different than a lot because there are a lot of different DeFi wallets and there's a lot of, like cold wallets and, hot wallets and all those kind of things, but not very many that I know of that you can buy and stake assets on there. So can you sell assets through that wallet as well?
Yep. Yeah, you can buy, sell, trade, stake. You know, we're integrating some DeFi functionality. If
Nice.
like if you want, say, an ERC20 token that you don't see on the Edge wallet,
Hmm.
you can import that. So you can have we have I think I think I don't want to get this right because I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure we have thousands of assets.
Yeah.
And if you love a crypto that we don't have on the Edge wallet, you can contact our team and we can see if we can do an integration. Because it's that important to us to have people off of these exchanges because they're inherently vulnerable. And
Yes.
people they get into the crypto space because they see the Super Bowl commercials or they
Oh,
see that crypto.com bought the
yeah.
stadium, but they don't understand self-custody, and Edge is
Mhm.
making it simple for those users. If you use the app, you'll realize it's very easy to use.
Mhm.
We want those expert users, and we also want those intermediate to like beginner users, and we try and make it easy for everybody.
Wow, that is so awesome. I know that a lot of my user base are newbies in the space, people who, and they might not even have their feet in the water when it comes to crypto. They're just kind of trying to get an understanding, a better idea of how everything works. So sounds like Edge, you guys. I am going to definitely check it out, Madison. I have to like be honest that I know Edge Wallet. I didn't know it had all those capabilities,
Yeah.
and I have the ledger, and so I was just doing all these other things. But I definitely want to give my stamp of approval based on what
Yes,
you're saying
please
for that.
check it
So yeah,
out.
I will.
Check it out and let me know if you have any questions. Another thing that's cool about Edge is that we like a lot of self-custody apps, they make you memorize this 12-word seed
Word.
phrase and
Uh-huh.
whatnot. We automatically encrypt that onto your device. So we make it easy. You don't have to write that down. You just need a username and password to get started. You don't we do no KYC everything. I could talk about this forever.
Wow. No,
Yeah,
keep
we try
going.
and make it really easy for the
Yes.
users. And you'll notice right when you sign up how much different it is from those other self-custody platforms
Yeah.
such as like MetaMask or Exodus. We make it a little bit more simple for that newer beginner user.
Oh my gosh, that is incredible. Okay. I have to say, since we're talking about newbies and new users, what would you say, like maybe from your point of view, to somebody who is brand new to the space that might be like, okay, like I know we're in a bear market, I want to try to get some assets. Like, what would you say to them other than downloading the Edge wallet and interacting like with that technology piece? What would you say to somebody to help transition their mindset around like taking that first step?
Yeah. What I always say to people is, okay, say you have $2,000 that you want to start investing in crypto.
Hmm.
My advice would be start with 200. Start with less than you're ready for, and put a little bit into one asset, and then exchange it, and then get used to the platforms that you're
Hmm.
using. Um, and just start with less than you think you're willing to lose.
Mhm.
So that would be my advice to somebody who's just starting out.
I like that. That's great. Because a lot of times you hear, only invest what you're willing to lose. And you're taking it a tiny step further and saying, well, only invest a little bit less than what you're willing to lose. So you're not,
Yeah.
and then getting the feet wet in terms of doing different exchanges between tokens and things
Right.
like that. So,
Get used to it. I think something that could be helpful, Web3 is still so new that you
yes.
can easily like contact somebody and ask the silly questions, like
Mhm.
contact Dr. Brook, contact
Mhm.
me, contact, if you see somebody works in Web3, that we're more than willing to help you like start. I think it's better to start with some help than to just start alone.
Yes.
And there's people out there who are willing to help you. So yeah, just reach out. Community is huge in Web3. So jump into a community and just start asking questions. There's no stupid questions. I'm always asking silly questions. Like it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's very true. The Web3 community is very strong and we stand by each other and we support one another. And, of course, in any sort of organization or sense of community, whether it be like a church or like school or, different groups that people are part of, there could be tiny little bad apples that are doing wrong things. But the greater whole is good people, and we're willing to help and we're willing to put in work to get you to a point where you feel safe and confident in making these moves into the Web3 space. Transitioning, I want to talk about your art, you as an artist, and what you're doing now with NFTs and your digital assets that you have on OpenSea available for anybody who wants to mint. Tell us about the project. Tell us about the inspiration.
Yeah, definitely. So, like I mentioned, I'm a ceramic artist by trade.
Yeah.
And when I entered Web3, truth be told, I was kicking myself for not getting my degree in graphic design. I was like, gosh dang it, all my art skills they involve mud.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I started getting, I became really good friends with the graphic designer who was working at Edge, and she gave me some pointers on, how to use Adobe Illustrator, and I got an iPad, and I was designing on Procreate, and
Yeah.
I just went like full throttle. I was so in love with, learning new systems that I kind of out of nowhere just like created a design, and then I just kept going, and I ended up with 52 pieces of this style that I was
Mhm.
working on. And I learned a lot about NFTs through working in this space. And so I was like, you know what? Let me just list these on OpenSea. I don't have the time to run the Discord and create a community and whatnot. So I was like, I'll just list them and see how it goes.
Mhm.
And I created a project called Unique Earth. It's all about, the animals in the earth, around on the earth.
Yeah.
And so you can find it on OpenSea, and it was just my like maiden project into NFTs. I'd love to do more collections. So right now, I think I
Mhm.
have the Safari collection, the Mountain collection. I think there's an Asian collection, and there's a Marine collection. So there's 52 pieces, but I believe 4 collections
They're
within it.
Oh, that's so cool. I love Geez, woman, I love how you like literally you're like, yeah, I work with mud and this is what I normally do with my art. But you know what? I'm gonna like really figure this stuff out. And you're doing that. And it just goes to show you, for those of you who are listening, and you may feel like you can't transition or you can't make, you're kind of stuck in your lane. You're not stuck in your lane. Like you absolutely can transition. And the whole goal, well, I call it a goal, but the whole idea about being a human being is evolving and shifting and changing. And that's exactly what you did, Madison. Like you literally, not to say you did away with the mud, but you're like, how can I participate in this art community? Like I have no art skills, and I'm not going to pretend that I can even do art. And probably if I use Procreate, I'll be like drawing stick figures. But I understand that that is not my lane. But you have already the artistic ability, and now you have your maiden project out there. Do you have future plans of creating like other collections, like long term, like on or Ethereum NFTs?
So yeah, if you look at my collection now, it's mostly animals and some marine animals.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to do collections with like a butterfly collection
Yes.
or potentially like a mushroom collection because there's such like so many unique species of mushrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to expand on that. Maybe, you know, different types of trees or
Mm-hmm.
um, 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 like monuments that are in the I don't know what the word is kind of escaping my mind, but like, you know, like the arch in Utah,
Yes.
like
Yes.
different earth monuments,
Yes.
because you know that's kind of bringing in my other passion is, you know, like traveling
Travel.
and seeing the world. So I do have a deep appreciation for our planet and traveling, and so yeah, I'll just bring it all together, you know,
Yeah.
Web3 art and the earth. It kind of all encompasses my passions.
I love it. You know, like it's interesting because I don't know if you've heard Gary Vee talk about, you know, he says stuff about NFTs, and he talks a lot about, I mean, he has his own NFT project, but
Hmm.
what he says is, you know, a lot of these people are going to be like interacting with NFTs, and they have no idea that they are, because, you
Mm,
know, they'll take their traditional QR code for like their Southwest flight and scan it on the, you know, thing and check in, but that piece will be an art piece of like wherever they're heading, or like an aspect, and it may not mean anything to anybody until that collector becomes like, or that art creator becomes like bigger, and then people are going to be like, oh my gosh, I had like the first Madison Parks piece, or like whatever. I think it's so cool that you want to do those travel things too, because maybe like down the line you work for these bigger airlines and you create the pieces that they utilize for these passengers to board these planes. Like, I don't know.
yeah, yeah. Hey, I love that your mind went there. That's so fun.
Yeah.
I
Like,
what I have like a little bit of a story that kind of just shows how cool and strong the community is.
yeah.
Um, this past summer, we hosted the first annual POAP pub crawl.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who don't know, POAPs are proof of attendance protocol NFTs. So, you know, say you go to an event, you can mint the NFT for free, and then you can show that you were at the event.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a pub crawl where at each pub, you got a different POAP. And I was at this pub crawl, and I was talking about my NFT project, and at that time it was listed, um, or it was up on OpenSea, but none of them were for sale,
Okay.
because I hadn't figured that out yet, you know.
Yeah.
And I was telling somebody about my project, and I was like showing them photos on my phone, and his name, I don't remember his name, but I know his Twitter handle. It's top notch investing or top notch investments.
Yeah.
He's an NFT investor, and he's like, okay, well, I just put a bid in on your NFT. And
What?
I was like, what does that even mean? Like, I don't know how to I don't know how to even accept a bid. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was so new to it. And he's like, well, you have 24 hours to figure it out. And so I went home that night, and I was like, I went online to OpenSea, and I figured out how to, you know, accept the
Yeah.
offer.
Yeah.
And that was just such a cool like moment, because he, you know, pushed me over the edge to where
Right.
like I became an NFT artist who
Yeah.
sold their art on the
Yeah.
blockchain. And that was a really cool like moment for me, and I definitely appreciate him for doing that and pushing me that in that way.
Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Like, it's official. It's so official. And you said he pushed you over the edge, no pun intended. Now that you're at Edge Wallet. So that's awesome, girl. I'm very excited to hear that.
Yeah, that was cool.
And that's the power of community as well. Like, you never know who you're talking to, or like what kind of opportunities can come from just each interaction. And it's not looking for interactions to what's the term I'm looking for? Like, when people use like people to get to different places, it's like really just building deep connection with people. And if they can introduce you to somebody and introduce you to somebody, and pretty soon you're living an entirely different life than you originally thought was possible, because you took opportunities and said yes, to those things, like we talked about earlier. So very cool. Another thing you're doing is something, you're a Zcash ambassador. What is that? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so Zcash is a privacy protocol. So they have privacy coins. To kind of spill it out a little bit, basically, if you purchase something in Bitcoin, that transaction is broadcast onto the blockchain. And if somebody knows your Bitcoin address, then they can see the transaction. They can see who it's to. They can see how much it is. But with Zcash, they have shielded transactions. So you can purchase something in Zcash and seal with a shielded transaction, and it will actually not publish to the blockchain. They use zero knowledge proof technology to where it just verifies with the sender and the receiver that the transaction happened, but nobody needs to know about it. So it's a really cool technology. Edward Snowden actually helped to launch it.
Okay.
The Zcash Media Group has some really beginner-friendly videos on YouTube about it, and it's a super cool technology. But they have an ambassador program where they just like get some people out in the community talking about Zcash. And so I host a monthly meetup at the Edge headquarters, and we talk about Zcash. And I think because I'm at Edge and we're so privacy and security focused, it's really been easy for me to transition and become a Zcash ambassador, because I really do believe that privacy should be normal. And a lot of these companies who just steal your data, we shouldn't be able to have stuff like that in the world. So I think I've been a Zcash ambassador for 4 months now, so it's still pretty new.
So is Zcash their own blockchain, or do they provide that shielding of the transactions to any blockchain, as long as you're utilizing the Zcash token to transact with?
I believe it's their own blockchain.
Okay.
I believe. I'm not super big on the technical side of things. What I do is I have an event space, and so I try and get speakers who are in Zcash, like really deep in Zcash. I provide them a space to talk about everything, and exactly. So that's been super fun.
That's awesome.
They I want to put just a tidbit in there. Zcash also does community grants. If you have anything that you're looking to kind of build, and you need funding, and you want to put and you also care about privacy, I would encourage you to apply for a Zcash grant, because they're big on community, and they like to fund projects who are talking about what they like to talk about.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. And so you talked about the event space, and you're hosting these meetup groups with Zcash. So you and I met. You emceed the event that I spoke at in San Diego on October 22nd, Web3 Con, and you're about to MC another event in Miami or Orlando?
Miami
in February or March?
January. It's
January.
it's in like 2 weeks.
Okay. Okay, so this will be released before you go to that event. So the event
Awesome.
will not have had happened yet. So tell us about the event, and if somebody wants to go, like, how can they do that?
Yes. Yeah, I'm super excited about this event. It definitely, this event is a great example of my, you say yes to opportunities and you get
Yes.
more. I said yes to emceeing the Web3 SD conference back in October, and then, Quantum Miami picked me up as their MC as well. So, it's just a chain reaction like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So Quantum Miami is actually the same people who used to throw the TNABC conference, the North American Bitcoin conference. So Harry Ye actually is like running it now, and he like they basically rebranded to Quantum Miami. So it's the same conference, but it's had a little bit of a rebrand. It's happening on January 25th through the 27th in Miami. If you or someone you know is looking for tickets, I can definitely help you out with that. I know of a couple giveaways that can be entered. So go ahead and reach out to me. I'm at mad_parks on pretty much all socials, I'm pretty sure.
I'll put that in the show notes too, so you guys could
Yes.
just click on it and get straight to her.
Yes, reach out to me. It's going to be an amazing conference. Phantom is sponsoring it, of course, and then Tomb is also a sponsor of the event. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be definitely the biggest event that I've ever hosted. So a little bit nervous, but it's like we were talking about earlier. You have to say yes, and the way I think about it is, if I wasn't ready for the opportunity, then it wouldn't present itself to me.
Exactly.
So clearly I'm ready, and it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be so incredible, and it's just going to be the next stepping stone to the next thing and the next thing, and then pretty soon it's going to be like huge events, and you're going to be like, this is not scary anymore. What other like adventures and challenges do I need to get into?
Yeah, bring it on.
I go ahead.
And it's so cool that now we're doing this because we met at the last event, and this conversation is a perfect example of what beautiful things can come from events like that. So I'm definitely thankful. Like I feel really lucky to be living the life that I get to live, and to be meeting and hanging out with the people I get to hang out with.
I love it. I love it. Yes, you and I are so aligned in our thought process on that, because it's like, that's what I was going to say earlier too, is, the very first time I hit record on this podcast, I was like a little shaking in my skin. And now it's just like, all right, cool. I get to record another one. It's like it gets less and less scary. And then there's new challenges and new things to overcome. And it just, that's the way life goes. And, when you say you're super grateful to live the life that you get to live, not a life that you have to live, but a life that you get to live. Like, oh girl, I just said that this morning to my accountability group, and yes, we're so aligned.
I know we need to meet up again in San Diego
soon. Yes, definitely. Yes, we definitely do. Well, Madison, as we bring this train into the station, is there any final words you want to say? Anything I might have missed in our conversation? I know people can reach out to you at mad_parks, but anywhere else that they can connect with you?
Super happy to connect on LinkedIn. I guess the last thing I would like to say is something that is kind of, crypto is a hard community to become a part of.
Yeah.
Wait, let me rewind. Crypto is not a hard community to become a part of, but there is a bit of a like barrier to entry that's like, that's not it's like in your mind. So like I would just encourage you to just jump in. Like I said earlier, just like message somebody, ask the questions. Like everybody is really happy to have you be involved. So even though it seems like, oh, there's already a community, like I can't become a part of it, like take that out of your mind, just jump in, and, you know, you can reach out to me, you can reach out to Dr. Brook. Just jump in, and I think you'll be surprised with the open arms that you receive.
Oh,
That's my last sentiment.
I love it. I love it. I love it. This has been such a beautiful conversation, Madison. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
and
you.
For those, yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And for those of you who took this ride with us, make sure to keep your body intact in the ride until we come to a full stop. You're going to exit to your right, and we will see you on the next one. You made it. Congratulations. That wasn't so bad, was it? I hope you laughed and learned a little bit more about this Web3 universe and how simple and fun it can really be. Would you be so kind as to leave us a review and share it with your friends and family? It would mean so much to get this out to more people as we embark on the greatest transfer of wealth that has ever happened in human history. Can't wait to see you on the next one.